A lot of you like to take the trades that are in the alerts, but you don't do your homework. You don't really do the work and take a look at the setups, look at the market data, the macro data, and see the correlations between the under markets and the indexes. And so you just alerts, and that's fine too. But I think what happens is you get trapped at some point. If you don't really know why you're trading something, at some point, by just following the alerts, you're going to get trapped. You're going to be in a trade. I'm not alerting it. Maybe you got in late. Maybe you got in early. You didn't get my price. And now something is happening with that trade or with the markets. And you're wondering, well, what do I do with this trade? And so you look to me or the room, and I see the alerts all the time. Do you know what Michael is doing with the SPY vertical? Should we close it here? What should we do? And it gives you a sense of uncertainty of what the F you're doing. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? This message clear? You can certainly copy the alerts, but I decided before I launched Trade With Me Now that I would not be that guy. I would not be the trade alert guy. So some of you don't know this, but once I had cracked the code, so to speak, in trading, I had been allocating, but only, not, I'm sorry, I had been tracking, but only tracking my wins and losses, which was useless, completely useless. And I was also, those of you that I got a chance to meet over the last few months when I did the Feed the Pigeons tour and I traveled the country, I shared with you good trade, bad trade. So good trade, bad trade is I would be tracking everything that I traded, whether it was from alert services or trades I found on my own. I would track that my entry and track my exit, and that's it. My trade tracker looked very, very simple, but I was suffering from good trade, bad trade. The syndrome of good trade, bad trade is you have a good trade, you feel good. So you get a little confident and then you allocate a little bit more over time because you think you kind of know what you're doing until you have bad trade. Bad trade, you feel bad. So now you lose confidence. Now you trade scared. Now you under allocate. Now you just do one contract. So now you're not really sure. You have uncertainty until you get a couple of winning trades. You get a good trade, feel good. So you're sort of back in the game again until you have the bad trade. And your emotion is like a roller coaster between how you feel after a good trade and how you feel after a bad trade. That swing of emotion up and down forces your trading behavior. So you make decisions about entry, exit, adding or not adding to a trade, and allocation. Now think about what I just said. The chain reaction of good trade, bad trade. Yay, that worked. Oh no, I can't believe I just did that. This causes your emotions to go like this. When your emotions go like this, you now make decisions or your trade, let's just call it trading behavior. Oh, I'm writing kind of clearly this morning. Your trading behavior goes like this. And if your trading behavior goes like that, then the decisions that you make, important ones, right? Entry, exit. Thank you for letting us know, Michael. Entry, exit. Do I add to a trade? What am I allocating? Because this is what it's all about, right? entry. Like, is there a true setup here? Should I get out early? Should I add to the trade or should I just bail? How much am I allocating? So these four aspects, these four decisions that you make, is there a clean setup? Is this a good entry? When do I add to the trade and when do I cut it? And should I allocate more or less? These four decisions are run by the trading behavior curve that is created off of good trade, bad trade. Does everybody understand this? This is how most people trade. This is 99% of the retail trading public is this screen right here. I really want you to stare at it and understand it and see it. And then endeavor for it to not be you. But this is it. And so when I was first trading and doing good trade, bad trade, I was a good trader. I had finally kind of cracked the code, but I wasn't tracking my emotions. And then I realized what is at the heart of my trading account just not going up. I was trading. I was a good trader, but I couldn't get my equity curve to go up. So I went back into, I didn't draw it quite like this, but I could see the result over here. And my result was this. Does this look like an upward equity curve to you? Ultimately not. It was all over the place. And so I did something at the time I did not know was brilliant, but there are moments in time where we all have moments of brilliance. Well, folks, this was mine. My result was because of my bad exits, entries without clean setups. I didn't know where or when to add to trades, and my allocation was all over the place. Why? Why was I, exactly, Tammy, why was I exiting trades that were moving against me, but not to the point where the setup broke? So I got out of trades for the wrong reasons. I got into trades for the wrong reasons or late. I rarely added to a trade because I was afraid. And I had no allocation plan other than what some of the quote unquote gurus out there were telling me. One said, make sure it's 5% of your account. One said, make sure it's not more than 10% of your account. Some said, 500 a trade, every trade, $500, and roll it to the next one. I didn't know what the heck I was doing here. But the decisions, okay, listen up. The decisions that I made on entry, exit, to add or not to add, and allocations was being driven by the trading behavior curve created by the syndrome called good trade, bad trade. And I was getting fed alerts from a couple of different services, plus my own after a while. You see it now? So I decided, well, obviously I corrected my behavior. I got a solid allocation plan. And I realized that allocation, how much to put in a trade, is incredibly personal. And that the gurus on YouTube and these trade alert services were full of shit. They were all wrong. Every one of them. Not one of them. And to this day, I'll sit here, because I'm not standing, I will sit here and tell you that I am the only one out there that spends the amount of time on allocation and teaching you how personal it is, and have you all create your own personal allocation plan. You cannot allocate what I allocate, and I can't allocate what you can because it won't work for me. You must create a personal allocation plan. How do you do that? You just pick a number. So I created a methodology that allowed me to take into consideration my emotions. So I figured out what's a burn level. What could I afford to just burn to the ground on every single trade so that my trade, watch this guys, tell me if this isn't brilliant. And I'll try not to throw my shoulder out, patting myself on the back. What burn level could I create for myself that won't be affected by my trading behavior? Good trade, bad trade. I won't have the fear to get out of the trade. What amount could I stay in the trade until the end and not have my trading behavior cause me to enter poorly or exit poorly? And feel good about it. And then create a pilot allocation that's actually just less than the burn level, which will make me even happier. And then create, this was off of my casino experience, a money management system that could allow, it's called 70/40, that could allow for me to get out of, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but for me to get out of this trade if the trade ever got down by 70%. So now it's 70% of the pilot is my max loss. Well, wow, like no problem. So if my burn level was 500 and my pilot was, okay, I'm never going to trade more than $400. My burn level's 5, but my burn level's 500, but when I start looking at the price of the options, I'm going to make sure I can get at least 2 of them, 2 contracts, multiple contracts, and the total won't exceed 400. Now I'm below my burn level and I've got multiple contracts. So again, if I give out an alert that's $3.95 for an options trade, in this scenario, what could you do? Could you take 1? Yes, but I won't. So when you get this alert, what do? You alter the trade, narrow the spread, exactly. And so now I could maybe get it for about 185. But if I get 2 of them, that's going to be 370. Oops, 370. Is that underneath my pilot? Yes. And now 370, I don't have that at risk anyway because I'm going to bail if this thing gets down to 260, which is a 70% drawdown. So what I can say to myself when I take the trade, I will never lose more than around $250. Never. I will never lose more than 250. And I already said I'm okay at 500. Now you work out the numbers for you. What's your burn level? Create a pilot, 70/40, and that's your allocation. Check. So I fixed that problem. I figured out, based on my good trade, bad trade trading behavior, when do I get in and out of trades? Where's my exit level? Well, I realized that I needed to create some rules based on the way I traded. Listen to what I just said. I need to create some rules based on the way I trade. How will I know the way that I traded? Here's the question. If I'm tracking entry, exit, and I'm tracking every single trade, how do I know what my behavior was for each and every trade? the trades that I lost or made mistakes, how would I know what I did? How will I remember how I felt? How can I track my trading behavior so that I can create rules for entry, exit, and adding that fit me? Anyone have the answer? I certainly didn't have it. I'm only tracking my entry and my exits. So then it dawned on me, that's not enough. I have to track my behavior. Exited early. Why? Got scared. Market started to turn down and I got out at 40%. Got in late. I was greedy. The 50% of the move was already over, but my greed forced me into the trade. Bias. Tesla's got to bounce from here. It's got to go up now. I'm going to buy the dip in Tesla, and then it would drop another 5%. What happened? Well, instead of a true setup, I was biased my opinion about Tesla. You guys understand? So this right here, trade category, fear and panic. Did I trade with greed or fear of missing out? Was I biased? Was there another issue I had? Did I trade it all to plan? Did I get out early because I just wanted to with a good profit? Feed the pigeons, that's what it means, getting out early. Check my notes. What did I do? How did I trade? Then I could filter it out, look at percentages. Now I had an actual tool that could help me determine my trading behavior and allow me to sort of carve up a trading plan that works for me. Because initially, I had like an 80% drawdown, and it was just too much loss. For me, 80% loss was too much. So I changed it to 70%. And once I did that, I found I wasn't exiting trades, as much. No, Margie, it's more of a mental stop. You don't want to put in stop losses on options unless you're at work and it's towards the end of the day or it's a Friday or something and you absolutely may not be there if the market turns on you. So you could set up a bracketed trade where you exit with, say, let's just say your trade is down by 40% and it's a Thursday and you only have one more day, but you have to work. So you're not going to be around. So you set up a stop market where you get out of the trade at that amount. Let's say it's a $4 trade, right? So you get out of the trade, your stop market is, whatever, what would it be? 280, 120. Once the trade goes down and is only worth $120, you exit. So you do a stop market exit on a loss, but then you also place a limit order to sell it if, let's just say, it reverses and gets up by 30%. So, 520, or let's just say $5. So you have this order, good till cancel, and you have this order, good till cancel, and then you can walk away. I mean, you could check on it, but if you had to do that because you're not going to be around because you're working, you can do that.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comment section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.